they are his angels. So when you read Matthew 25:41 again, look at it that way. Because so many people will go, see, this wasn't talking about God condemning sinners. The hell was prepared just for the devil and demons. It didn't say that. It said Satan and his angels, the devil and his angels, those who follow him, those who do his bidding, those who carry his message. A good example, Sister Lisa says that she had a problem with alcoholism. A lot of people do in this country. A lot of people do. My father did. But this is how these things happen. Let's say you're an alcoholic and you live to open up the bottle to pour the drink. You live for that. You can't go a night without it. You can't go a week without it. You can't go any amount of time without it. So as you continue, well, you need companions. Most people that drink a lot like to drink along with companions. And so they start planning dates to go out. Friends, man, let's go out and get drunk. Let's go drink. And then you see people in the bars like pouring shots. Give me another one. Pour shots. Give me another one. It becomes your master. And you become enslaved to it. And that's how the devil gets you. But when you're the one calling the other person, say, hey man, let's go get drunk. Let's go hang out and let's go party. All right. Now you are the one that is being instrumental in perpetuating someone else's intensity in the very same habits and sin that you are ringing them into. Sister Lisa, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
But what?
Mm-hmm.
And I would literally say this to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the point of even putting that in your mouth if you're not going to get drunk? That's what we're doing. Let's get drunk. We got to do it.
Right.
And I meant it. To even say it now is so stupid and ridiculous.
Right.
And it's pathetic, honestly. And it was a blast until it wasn't.
Right.
And when it wasn't anymore, my whole family was about to be destroyed. My marriage was about to be destroyed. Right. And I couldn't see it. And right. I couldn't stop. And I'd say, I want to stop. And then I just couldn't. So it's true. It gets you. And I'm sure it's the same with anything, and I realized I think I had a food addiction at one time too. You know what I mean? Just
right.
We don't even think about food as being sinful, but
right, we don't.
Gluttony, but God, so.
No, you're right, sister. I remember
it gets you.
They got some guy who you guys may have seen. I don't know if you've seen him, but there's some guy who's he's like the champion of eating the most hot dogs. And I'm like, what a horrible thing to do and to make it entertainment. And it's gluttony. It's just all in out gluttony. It takes a lot of preparation to be able to eat more hot dogs than anyone on the planet. But yet this is what people do. This is what we do in a country that has so much, that we're so blessed to have an abundance in so many things. And very few of us find it. Very few of us are able to not get carried away with excesses, and we pay for it eventually, one way or the other, even in health. If you like Grace mentioned, getting rid of the vape, but the thing is, what we have to do is learn how to manage against having excesses that cause us to sin. And we need to avoid it like the plague. We need to avoid it like the plague. Verse 14. Yet his meat is in his bowels. Still talking about the wicked man. His meat is in his bowels is turned. And it is the gall of asps within him, or snakes, serpents. So what starts off as pleasant food becomes venom, like the venom of snakes inside. And this is what he's talking about. He's talking about he consumes all this sin, this wickedness. He consumes his wickedness. And now is making his stomach turn. It's making his stomach turn. And the gall of asps, snakes, is in him. I always have trouble with that word. Brother Jeffrey, go ahead.
Jonathan, I just wanted to add to your comments a couple of moments ago that Christians, when sin does occur in your life, now listen to this, please, because it took me 50 years to learn this. Don't be ashamed of it. And I'm not saying be proud of it. What I'm saying is confess it.
Right.
Confess it quickly, confess it fully, confess it openly. Here's why. Because that's precisely what God wants you to do. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying go out and get into some sin so you can come and confess it. No. Right. I'm saying that when it does occur, don't be ashamed of it, because when you're ashamed of it, what do? You lock it up.
Right.
You put it away. As Jonathan was saying earlier, you push it down, and it doesn't come out. So what does it do? It festers inside of you. It makes you dirty on the inside, and it grows and it grows. Don't let it grow. When it occurs, confess it. Name it. If you have to go back and put moments, dates, and times on that sin, do it. But confess it. Get it out. Speak it openly. Identify it. Speak it for what it is. And then watch what God will do when he forgives you and restores you. It is amazing. Thank you, Jonathan.
You're welcome, brother. And look, listen, that's a good point, because when the one thing that a confession does for you, whether it's to yourself, between you and the Lord, depending on what it is, and whether or not you share it with another brother or sister, which you should do if it's something that is really hard to overcome. What that confession does is that now that you put it out there, you've welcomed scrutiny. You welcome scrutiny with regard to that issue. You've invited another brother or sister or somebody close to you to now take part so they can watch out for you and they can see it coming on again, and they'll discourage you. They'll discourage you. And a lot of times people don't want to be discouraged. When they go back to whatever it is they were doing, try and go back to them and see what happens. Don't bother me. Don't bother me with this stuff. And next thing you know, they're not even going to church anymore. They're not fellowshipping anymore. They're not reading the Bible anymore. They're not praying. And the language of godliness and grace doesn't appeal to them anymore. And I've known people like that. And I've never once seen them come back. Not once. Known a lot of people like that and never came back to the faith. So we have to guard our hearts with all guarding, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 3:23. And so we need to remember this whole thing. So here in 14 again, so he's accumulated all this wickedness so much that he has more to spare. And now the meat, it says here in verse 14, yet his meat in his bowels is turned, and the gall of snakes or serpents within him. So now he's moving from his taste for sin. Now he's dealing with what happens after he tasted. Now he's dealing with the digestion of it. It gets into his stomach. It gets into his stomach and it makes him sick. It makes him sick. Meg, you can go ahead and read the verse.
It says, bread of deceit is sweet. Afterward, his mouth shall be filled with gravel.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yep.
Could
Great.
you imagine eating some bread and then being filled with gravel?
Yeah. Yeah. So the gall of asp means that he consumes all this wickedness, and then he consumes it, and then it breeds bitterness outwardly. He becomes bitter. And you see this happening with a lot of people that you might witness to. Could even be another brother or sister that you know in Christ. When people get into this area of their life where there's a sin they don't want to give up, they can become belligerent. They even a Christian, you know, and they're what they took so much delight in is now becoming their destruction. They took so much delight in it. They were excited about it. They needed more. Couldn't get enough. Now they love it. Jeffrey.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
God. The Hebrew phrase for sons of God is bin ra Elohim, or sons of Elohim. And throughout the Hebrew Bible, that phrase consistently refers to divine beings, members of God's heavenly council. They're spiritual beings that were appointed by God to carry out his purposes. We see this clearly in Job chapter 1 and chapter 2, where the sons of God present themselves before the Lord. And in Job 38, they're there shouting for joy at the creation of the universe. Now, it does help if we pause to talk a bit more about what kind of divine beings these sons of God were in their role in heaven before they fell.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Jonathan. They go as far as to defend it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like it's righteousness almost. I mean, that's how addicted or used to that sin they embrace.
Right.
And that's what it does. When we embrace sin, it winds up embracing us. See, that's the thing. It doesn't let go. And the only thing that can let it go or make it let go is the grace of Christ.
Right.
And so many people, brother, as you well know, and you've pointed this out many times, are caught in that trap, and they don't want to get out of that trap.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's the sad part. Thank you for teaching us grace, brother. Love you for it.
Man. Thanks, brother. So what I like about this metaphor here, his meat is in his bowels, his turn, and the gall of the asp is within him. Our focus is not to be looking at actual meat, looking at the actual bowels, but to look at what he's communicating here is the internal effect of sin. And this is important because we know for a fact that everybody is a sinner. And so that means that there is something in every one of us that should be found to be troubling to God and to holiness. There should be something, you know, because we are all sinners, there's more than likely something that we harbor, or something that if we give it to, if we feed it, if we let it get a taste, we're back into the doldrums of a sinful bondage, another particular sinful bondage. But we are not in bondage to anyone, to anything. That's what the Christian is. Once you come to Christ, you've been set free. And so he's given you an ability to first recognize it. And then second, he's given us direction in his word as to how to deal with it. And that's what Christian liberty is all about, like Brother Joe said. Christian liberty allows us to do this, and you don't get that until you become a Christian. There is no liberty without Christ. None at all. There's no peace without Christ. So these people, their transformation is complete once it gets to the part where there's inwards, at the inward parts is being totally poisoned and corrupt. And so it can get to the point where they can't do anything to help themselves, and they never could. Only Christ can. But sin, because of how deceiving it is, it often tells people who are caught up in it or in some type of it, if you come to them and start telling them the truth about the gospel, they will think their sin is so great they can't come to Christ. And this is one reason why we have to continually tell people the truth, because their clock is ticking. And the sin that wants to bring them into complete subjection and bondage is continually getting stronger and stronger within their souls. And we need to try to do whatever we can to encumber that continuous pursuit for lust, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. Fornication, excesses with alcohol, excesses with gluttony, excesses with lying or stealing, saying that it's not, So we need to be aware of our own hearts, and we need to examine our hearts daily while we can. Verse 15, he has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. God shall cast them out of his belly. So again, now he's dealing with another metaphor where he deals with making money dishonestly. And let's face it, to get rich usually involves a whole lot of dishonesty. It would be very difficult to be rich and powerful without having to be dishonest. Even excusing it is difficult. And so it is very rare. I'm sure all of us know wealthy people, and there's a reason why they're wealthy. There's a reason why they're wealthy. And I think a lot of people are going to find out that what they thought was good and okay, with God, it wasn't. But we have to remember God deals with the inward parts of a man, the inward part of a man. So is it a sin to be rich? No, it's not. Is it hard to be rich? Absolutely. Christ says it's virtually impossible for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. And so if you're going to be rich in things of this world, consider what you're giving up. Consider what you're giving up. He that swallows down riches, he will vomit them up again. God shall cast them out of his belly. He devours his wealth like food, having no moderation, having no gratitude, and feeling absolutely entitled to whatever he has. And we live in a society where it is wealth at any cost is considered ambition. And once you change the name and give it a name like ambition, people think it's all right to do what you do to get rich. If the pursuit of wealth and rich is your issue, it is going to be very bad for you. It's going to be very, very bad. Because you will vomit them up again. God shall cast them out of his belly. So that whatever it is he swallows has got to go. It's got to go. This is a humiliating situation to be in. The image that is painted here. It's a terrible thing to be in. And it's a certain thing to happen. And yet, convincing people of that who believe that they're going to live forever when we've only been allocated 70, 80 years in general. Some die young, many die old. But sin can hold you down to this earth and to the earthly and carnal mentality. Whatever was consumed so eagerly can't be held on to. It's got to come out. And that's what he talks about. It's going to vomit. You're going to vomit them up again. And the agency for that vomiting up again, the agency of it, God himself takes the honors. He takes the honors. Look what it says. God shall cast them out of his belly. God's going to do it. His justice, his divine justice eventually will enter into the picture. And you never see the wealthy spoken of in the Bible apart from them being oppressors. They are always spoken of as oppressors, which you kind of have to be to get rich. You kind of have to be. But in this country, in our own country, we have our own sins as a nation to account for. We celebrate wealthy people. We put them on pedestals. Wealthy people, the powerful people, the celebrated people. Men worship them because they want what they have. But a sinner who clings to wealth that he achieved unfairly or through ill-gotten means, God's going to strip away. He's going to strip them away. One loss after another, one calamity after another, one exposure on top of another, or death itself. Either way, God is coming for it. And he's going to ask for you, for us all, to give an account for what we have done in the body. This is universal. Everyone will have to give that an account for what they've done in this body. And so this is something that should resonate with us all. This verse teaches us that prosperity without righteousness cannot be sustained. It's untenable. You're naive if you think that you can be prosperous without righteousness and have it last long in any profitable, meaningful way. It will get you by losses, or it will get you by taking away all the joy that you had in it. Wealth gained by injustice carries within it the seeds of inevitable future forfeiture of all that you have. God's going to take it all back. He says it here. God shall cast them out of his belly. His riches, all the stuff that he accumulated, power, renown, without righteousness. It is an inevitable fact that God is going to deplete your stores. You will have nothing left. Now consider the fact that Job is hearing this, what they're saying. They're telling Job, you are going through it right now. God's divine justice has intervened with you, Job. You can lie to me and Bildad and Eliphaz and Elihu. You can lie to us, but you haven't fooled God. You're a wicked man, and you drink up wickedness to your full, and now you even have some in spare. You have sin to spare. This is what they're telling Job. All these things that we read and we talked about, they are true. But they weren't true as far as these guys making their accusations against Job. So we get to learn what not to do, and we get to learn through Job's actions how to somewhat respond to it. How to respond to it. Verse 16. He shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. So now he's saying that the gall that we read in the last verse, the gall has now turned into venom. Poisonous. What he tasted lightly, what he tasted sweetly, what he tasted and consumed as a delicacy, now becomes fatal. Fatal to what? Sister Savannah, what do you think? Fatal to what?
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
So when a person tastes sin, holds on to it, consumes more, and then consumes it to the point of excess where you're storing sins. So stay with the metaphor here. You're storing it. So when this happens, it eventually becomes fatal. In what way? Is the question. In what way does this become this lifestyle become fatal?
Fatal as in like they're storing up the wrath of God. Like they're storing up debt, like against themselves because sin is against God. So unless we have Christ, it's a debt that we have to pay back. So they are literally storing up the wrath of God against themselves.
Good answer. Good answer there. Anybody else want to add to that?
I will.
Go ahead.
The treasures is where your heart is. Where your treasures are is where your heart is. So we store our treasures up. And what does that do if that's the case and it's sin that he's treasuring?
Mm-hmm.
Then wages of sin is death.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the poison here, the venom, it's not like, look at the verse. He shall suck up the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. So he sucks up the poison of asps. In other words, he drinks it willfully. Willfully. I'm not even sure in the imagery if he means anything to indicate that he knows that this will happen. But we tell people all the time what sin will do. Sister Lisa, go ahead.
Well, I just had a thought about the tongues of the vipers or the asps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it brings me back to Satan in the garden, the snake, the deceiver. It's like he will suck the poison. It's like they consume the wickedness and they eventually it does. It rots you from the inside. You lose your soul. You're gonna go down.
That's what he's talking about. That's exactly what he's talking about. He says the viper's tongue shall slay him, and yet he continues to willfully suck up the poison of asps. That's what it's talking about. Sucking up. It's almost like. So remember, first it's an affection. It comes through the eyes, and then you get this affection, and then you live in it and bury yourself in it, and then you're stuck in it. You're in bondage to it, and then you get to a point where you realize that this is all for nothing, or that it's causing you a lot of deep-seated problems. But yet, even though it's causing you all these problems, the sin you love so much, causing you all these problems, you continue to suck up the venom. You know its potential to destroy you. You know what it does. But you continue to suck it up. You want more and more. And now, because the idea to me of sucking up means like before you brought it to your mouth to eat and consume. But now you're like sucking it up as if you are like a baby on a mother's nipple. Now you need it. Now you act as though you need it. And no matter how bad it tastes, no matter what you know that it will do to your stomach, you continue to indulge. Like Candy says, you continue to indulge. You can't help yourself. You need it now. And the viper's tongue slays. It kills. What seems small and subtle suddenly becomes deadly. You had that one little taste, and it fomented into an all and out appetite that is out of control. Lisa.
So do you think that the truly wicked, those that literally do evil, wicked things for their own benefit, for their own wealth, for their own power, do you think they really understand that these actions are going to bring death upon them? Or are they delusional that they think they just don't believe it anymore? They don't. Obviously their consciences have been seared. We all know right from wrong. And so when we continue to do it, and then it goes deeper and deeper
Mhm.
I mean, do you think that they just do not care? Do they not believe it? Or are they delusional that they think they'll be victorious in whatever they're,
Mhm.
I mean, they must. Do
Mhm.
they even think about it?
Right.
Right. Do you know what I
Good.
mean?
Yeah. No. Good question. Good question. Meg, you want to answer that? And then Pat.
I, I, I would have to have her rephrase it again. She says, when sin, do they even think about sin? Well,
Like,
here,
do they know that the evil deeds that they're doing, we know they know they're evil because we all know basically right from wrong. And these people, I'm speaking today in today's circumstances,
Right.
do these people actually know that they're going to be thrown into the pit of hell when they're gone? Do they not believe it now? Or has God blinded them to the fact that this is their end?
so,
I guess we'd assume it, right? That he has to have blinded their eyes to it, right?
well, I would encourage you to read Romans chapter 1, even like 18 through 24, or you can start at verse 1, but that Romans chapter 1 talks a lot about that. But what I think is that, see, the will is tied to the nature, right? So when one is in sin and that nature is present, the only thing that they can respond to is what they are, and that is evil, right? Unless one is born again, they don't have the ability to do good, because according to chapter Romans 3, we can't. So do they know? No. Do they care? No. They can only respond to the nature and the will in which they are given to, and that is their sin nature. The sin nature is not what you are. Not what you do. It's what you are. That's how deep it goes. So that would be my answer to your question.
Great, thank you.
And I would read, I just want to read this one verse in relation to this verse that you're talking about, Jonathan. In Job. It's James 1:15. It says, then when the lust has conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. So to me, I see in this verse, the process of how sin is birthed. It starts with a desire. It starts with that lust. It's then conceived. It's then brought forth in the action, and then it is consumed, because when it is finished, it brings forth death. So that's how I